For those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're gonna get to that other stuff here in a minute. But what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So before we do anything else, 5. If you haven't smiled yet today, now would be the perfect time to do so. Right now. And if you can't find a smile for yourself, then please allow me to be the smile on your face. As a matter of fact, if you're stuck in a dark place and it seems like you're sinking into the abyss, please allow me to be your beacon. Because at the end of the day, all I am is the smile on your face. All I am is a beacon in the darkness. So it's about that time for you to open up your head and let me crawl into your mind. One time. Everything is vibration. What it was, y'all already know who it is, and y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self, and this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight. And what this also is another dive into the intricacies that are you. And I hope you ready, because we going deep this time. Because this right here, this a little something about the major aspects between the sun and Pluto in your natal chart. And understand that I said major aspects. That means I'm talking about conjunctions, oppositions, trines, squares, sextiles, and quincunxes or inconjunctions. All right? That means I'm not talking about biquintiles or quintiles or sesquadrus or semi-sextiles or semi-squares. I'm not here to talk about your YOD or your grand trine or your T-square or your kite. Not yet. See, first we got to master the basics. And it's a good thing you got me. So before I dive into the aspect, what I'm going to do first is give y'all a brief reminder of what the sun is all about. Then I'm going to let you know what Pluto does for you. And then it's going to be a culmination, a crescendo, and eventually a climax. And don't let the smooth taste fool you. No, don't ever do that. Because you're actually tuned in with the coldest closer in the game. So without wasting any more time, let's get this thing cracking. All right? And so the sun, just like the sun is at the center of the solar system and all life revolves around it and within its sphere, in the same way, the ego is at the center of our personal identity, and it gives integration and continuity to our individual experience. So in that sense, it might be said that the sun shows character, because this is a fixed pillar at the center of each one of us around which all else circulates and revolves. All right? So our sun sign is going to show the center of our character, and it's also going to be the most primary indicator of the forms of experience that we're attracted to. Now, the house placement of the sun, this is going to show the primary area of expression for each one of us in life. And there's a psychological, emotional, and a physical significance to the house placement of the sun. So pay attention to that. Now, the aspects that the sun make, and that's what we're talking about here today. This is going to show ways that the core of our personality are linked to other key components of our life. And I'm telling you now, the aspects that the sun make are going to have a deep and overriding significance in our life. And they're generally going to be more important and more prominent than the other aspects that we have going on in our chart. All right? So, shit gonna be crucial today. All right? Now, when it comes to Pluto, though, Pluto represents the dark underground part of us. And it shows our ability to transform the most fundamental properties of our own inner nature. All right? So, our Pluto sign is gonna show the way the obsessive, compulsive, and committed part of our nature expresses itself. Whereas the house placement of Pluto is gonna show the areas of life where we make the most fundamental and the most potent changes. Now, the aspects that Pluto make are going to show the deepest, most unconscious links in our personality structure. So like I said, we're going deep today. All right? So let's talk about the people that have Sun conjunct to Pluto first. All right? And the first and main thing to understand about the folks with this one is they're going to have a direct intensity to them that may or may not be apparent, but it's always going to be there simmering just below the surface nonetheless. And that's going to be directly correlated to the fact that self-knowledge and psychological transformation are two of their main goals in life. And their ego is going to be attached to it too. So they're always going to be in their own head, and they're always going to be in their own depths, and they're always subjecting themselves to these intense periods of self-analysis, if that's what you want to call it, man. And they don't really have much of a taste for bullshit, man. Not their own or anybody else's for that matter, man. And they can see right through it too. I'm telling you now, man. And I mean uncannily, man. Because their ability to read motherfuckers and assess their intentions is effortless. And almost instantaneous. But that's not always a good thing, no. All right, because being so adept at reading in between the lines can easily, and I mean easily, develop into a double-edged sword, because while it does allow these people to experience a deeper dimension of experience than most people could ever fathom, and I'm letting you know that for real, it can also make motherfuckers develop a narrow focus that only sees the nastier side of things. And that can be a bitch to deal with, both for themselves and the people that are really close to them in their lives, man. Really anybody that's dealing with them, man. Because that feeling that there's always something more to the equation can actually be very self-destructive. Because when you're always questioning everybody's motives, man, that tends to push people away. I know this, man. And it's cruel to themselves, and it's cruel to the people that they love, man, because they almost feel relieved when they get proved right and somebody ends up getting exposed, for being a sorry-ass motherfucker, even when it's at the expense of their own emotional well-being. Because to them, not knowing is actually way more powerful than any truth that's uncovered could ever be. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. So what I'm really trying to say is with this conjunction right here, it is of the utmost importance that these people recognize their need to have an added depth to everything in life. And I mean everything. So they got to focus that internally on transforming their own self-destructive behaviors. Because once they do, that's when they become powerful. Straight up, man. And that's when their life starts to have meaning, power, and depth, man. Because for them, ordinary, it'll never suffice, man. And I could never, ever talk about people with Sun conjunct to Pluto without mentioning that simmering sexual vitality and immense passion that's always oozing from their oars, man. Straight up, man. And they're always gonna be the bringers of that little death, if you know what I'm saying. And they understand that healing can actually come from that le petit mortit. Okay? So be careful with them, man. Be careful with them, man. These people right here are learning to be fearless in this life. So their ego is always going to be pushing them to go deeper into you and deeper into themselves and deeper into the abyss. But if they can just keep it from consuming them, then they can actually have some very profound lives that are full of power and passion and intensity. And I'm telling you now, a lot of them go through so much that they actually develop into some amazing healers. But first, they got to learn to fiercely face their own darkness. All right? And so when it comes to the people that have sun opposite to Pluto, though, man, this is where it gets crucial. Because this is where we encounter people who kind of are locked into an inner struggle that seems like life or death to them. Because their will is extremely powerful, but it's also terribly misdirected a lot of the times. And then that shit right there spills over into their everyday life through these little violent outbursts in a quarrelsome nature. And even if they're presumptuous and defensive and boastful, their life will change dramatically and instantaneously for the better as soon as they stop blaming and attacking other people for everything that goes wrong in their life. I know this. Once they do that, they'll actually be able to start controlling themselves, which in turn will help them release that desire to control other people too. Because when it boils down to it, man, control is the issue with this one. Because these folks right here don't like making compromises because it makes them feel vulnerable. All right. And it also makes them not feel in control of the situation. So consequently, they try to keep everything at arm's distance in an attempt to protect their own power. And to be honest with you, that's actually counterproductive and self-destructive. And until they learn to share their power and free other people from their control, their ego is always going to be in the way of them improving their life through their natural abilities to find depth and substance and personal empowerment. All right? Because that need to be in control right here, man, it's a devilish obsession that always produces more hurt and destruction than anything else ever could, man. All right? Understand, if you try to manipulate the natural flow of events, you're going to bring the destruction that you're trying to prevent. Believe that. All right? Now, when it comes to people that have sun trine to Pluto, though, oh, this is where it gets good. Oh, yes. And I know firsthand because I got this for myself. And ultimately, it just boils down to the fact that people with this trine kind of expect greatness in their life, as far as deep and far-reaching effects for their efforts in life. And our vitality, our drive, our personal magnetism, all that shit is really going to guarantee that we produce powerful and accomplished results in whatever the fuck that we focus on in life. All right? Because with this one right here, we kind of put our personal hallmark on everything that we do in life. So our intensity of focus alone, hey man, it's a superpower. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. And it just creates a magic ability that transforms ourselves in every, and I mean every negative situation that we encounter. Because, we really have such an insightful and genuinely healing energy that even the worst shit, even the lessons that we learn, we know they're blessings. And we get the power from that, man. You understand? So that's why this right here is actually just a beautiful best case scenario, man. But when we come into the discussion about the square between these two, though, hey, man, this is a problem right here. Because here we have people with amazing self-control. But they let that pressure build up until they experience an earth-shattering explosion. And that's always just a direct byproduct of their own relentless inner tensions that they kind of refuse to address. And that tension is not caused by events or circumstances in their life, but by their own interpretation of those events and circumstances that went down. Because they let their negative and immature ass emotions emerge out of the things that are symbolized to them instead of what the fuck they really are. Okay, and hey man, because of that, they end up being their own worst enemy a lot of the time. So the key to the life for these people with this square is resolving their own personal conflicts that stem from their past in order to free up energy and empower themselves for the future. All right, period. And then when it comes to these individuals with the sun sextile to Pluto, okay, These people right here are as powerful as they want to be, man. Because when they're emotionally connected to something, whether it be a project, a person, or a situation, then their compulsive nature alone can carry them through to a completion in amazing ways that are going to really create awareness for them, because their amazing and awesome insight and unrelenting stamina is going to power their ego to achieve whatever it is that they're focused on. Okay? But they got to acknowledge that part of themselves that has that going down inside of themselves. Okay? But I will say this, either way it goes, you know what I'm saying? These people have a drive and an understanding of fundamentals that's fucking awesome, man. It's awesome, man. They just got to channel it effectively to see their powerful potential with this one right here. All right? And then lastly, when we talk about the folks with the sun in conjunct or quincunx to Pluto, all right? Man, this is where you run into these people who are forced to focus time and time again on details and situations that they kind of rather ignore in life. So when life slows down and becomes uncomfortable for them, what they really need to do is just calm the fuck down, simplify, and be patient. Because deep down, they're really changing in ways that they can barely perceive. So as long as they don't destroy themselves trying to force a process, then power will come to them naturally. But y'all don't have to believe a word I just said. Because the truth of the matter is, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. And what I mean is, we all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And this has been some priceless knowledge of self. If y'all fool with me at all, y'all should have already hit the like button. Because I know I went in. All right? And it's not too late. You can do it now. And there are going to be some that might hit the dislike button, and the world needs haters. I understand that. But do some type of interaction. Drop a comment. Let me know how you feel. YouTube is about interaction. And this is not for my ego. It's for the algorithm. It just helps me expand the platform. That way, if you're not trying to hear what I have to say, at least help me get out to the next motherfucker who is. All right? And if y'all are interested in the astrological or numerological readings whatsoever, do not hit me up in my comments. Hit me up in my email, which is mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Because if you hit me up in my comments, I'm just going to direct you to my email. And the same thing goes if you want some merch. But understand that I'll sell you all the merch you want. And you'll probably look fabulous in it. But this type of swag I got, this type of energy that I pack with me, it's got to be in you and not on you. So, let me put it in.